Hi everyone. So the other day I was pushing GR 134 with my Unhallowed Essence multi-shot Demon Hunter, trying to get a rank 1 on the leaderboard. And we had some really funny and interesting moment happening during the boss fight. So I want to share that with you and talk through it afterwards a little bit about what actually happened, to maybe also give you some tips for the future. But don't have to run away. It's Joker. Let's try. Yeah, we're gonna do this. It's just like 2 minutes slower than it should be. Wait, he's a power. What? There's actually a power. Okay, well, I guess you're gonna kill him. Okay then. What the hell has just happened? Yeah, thanks for the power, Nini. Okay, I need to rewatch this. Like, what was my movement through the rift? I went like pretty much through the center, but how did I spawn this pylon? Yeah, of course it was there. I need to see like how I went through this. What was that? So that was a pretty wild moment for me while pushing, and I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. So I found pylons that I was not aware of, like after the boss spawn here and there, but it was never after like 3 minutes or something, and not after running around the entire map. And especially it wasn't a power pylon that eventually sped up the kill so much that I actually had a real chance of finishing it. Now I think I would not have failed this run even without the power, but it would have been at least way closer. And it was kind of a weird scenario. Like, first of all, this is a Fields of Misery map, so it's still a new map that was introduced in season 26. It's kind of hard to learn all the pylon spots in just one season of like an entire map, even with all the pushing that I am doing, because yeah, you really need to pay attention to where they are spawning. And in this map in particular, you have many spawn spots all over the place, especially around the outer edges of the Fields of Misery, that yeah, just is too much to handle basically. And I also didn't really expect I would get another pylon, because I had just gotten the speed pylon here when I was entering floor 3. So I had like, here this was the previous floor, this was floor 2, we had like a really big condi, okay, and then after such a big condi you generally expect another pylon, or you at least expect to be close to one. So we got the speed here, and you see we're already at like over 80% or something, just like 80, 85 or something, and I was just not expecting another pylon at all. So I did go to, I think, something like 95% or so by the end of this floor without spawning another pylon. So I was just getting some trash pulls here and there. Yeah, and then you see this here, this is like 94% or something. And I entered this Fields of Misery at the end, where I spawned the boss with Chicken Monster type. So here the idea was I just, straight up run into the center, do one big pull and spawn the boss, and not even try to get another pylon. So that ship has sailed basically. And I didn't really go anywhere while making this progression. So you see here, I'm just fighting around this one big pull, and I didn't kill anything up to that point. And pylons do not spawn if you don't make progress. So there is a very slight chance that when you open a rift, there's a 0% pylon, and you can click it and yeah, okay. And there's also a rather small chance that you get another pylon pretty close after a previous pylon. But if you run through maps and you discover pylon spawn spots, but you don't kill anything, you will not spawn pylons. This is just how the game works, and you have to make a little bit of progression at the very least to get a chance to spawn a pylon the next time you go to a pylon spawn. And the thing is that after the boss has appeared, you cannot spawn any more pylons. It's just not possible. Even if the game would have given you one at 99%, if you didn't go for it, if you didn't spawn it before the boss, it's not gonna come anymore. So this power pylon that we saw at the start of the clip was there already before the choker spawn. So this is a very surprising moment here because, well, to reiterate, I went into this floor 4 with the chickens and it had no extra progression after I have cleared this map here. So I went from floor 3, I go to floor 4, and here at the start of the Fields of Misery there is a Pylon Spawn. It's basically right here somewhere at the top of the screen. There's a Pylon Spawn and I didn't have one. So I expected there would be no other pylon. I expected to make this one pull. So how exactly did I spawn a pylon? But the devil is in the detail here. And you can see me here making this pull. I'm running into the middle, obviously not going for any pylons. And I just wanted to make this one big pull so I can spawn the boss quickly because I had this super huge lead here that I wanted to preserve as much as possible for a really great clear time. At the end we got choker, which was very sad. But then we got the power pylon, which didn't make it as sad anymore. And here comes the moment when I'm certain I have spawned the pylon. This is this vortex from this blue pack. You see here the pylon is around here in the fog right now. You can see this here when we go forward. You can probably see the pylon somewhere. Here, you see like these little 2 dots here. This is like obstacles, and there is the pylon. So to the right of this little dot here. So this blue pack here vortexed me exactly in the range of the pylon spawn when my vengeance dropped. So you can see this here, my vengeance is still up, and usually when there's a vortex pack and your vengeance drops, it will instantly vortex you, and you can see this here. So I got insta pulled and I got exactly into the range of the power pylon spawn. But I didn't know it was there, and as I mentioned, personally I wasn't trying to spawn a pylon, I wasn't expecting one. And also, I didn't know that the pylon spawn was exactly there. And then we got choker at the end. And well, choker is a boss where you generally want to run around a lot because he spawns ads almost from the start of the fight. And those ads steal your stricken stacks. And on top of this, he also had these bats here because he had corpse raisers on his map. So I decided to try to kill them. But that's also a pretty bad idea because, well, you just waste like 30 seconds of not getting any stricken stacks, not doing any damage to the boss. So generally, you also want to just run away from those bats. And you see me here just trying to TP choker like further and further through the map while staying away from the ads, at least for a little bit, so I can get some stricken stacks. So this is generally the strategy about how to beat choker, because these ads are just way too tanky and most builds cannot decide which target they can give the stricken stacks to. Like in multi-shot, for example, you just hit like everything, and well, a lot of stricken stacks will get the ads. And if too many of those are stolen by the ads, I have no chance to kill the boss. So the idea is that you kind of like kite away slowly from the ads because choker is a bit faster and also it TPs on you very frequently. So you just try to like kind of like stay at range, move him further, let him TP, get some stricken stacks, and you just keep doing that for like 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. Obviously, it depends on how fast you generally kill bosses. But yeah, I guess you get the point. Choker is really terrible for almost every build. I guess most people know that. Not just because he's dangerous, but also because of the ads. And in my case, at some point I realized I can just use a timing shot and try to just like snipe him single target and get the stricken stacks that way at least, without doing any damage to him. So either way, it was a very sad story because of choker, because I had this insane lead on a 134 with multi-shot. And yeah, I was just like trying to do my thing and get it over with. And then I ran into this pylon in the end because I was just kiting around the entire map, and here we are. So that's pretty much how it went down, and it was definitely a very surprising and interesting scenario for me. And I figured it was worth making a video talking about how all this happened, because it might help you on your own pushes. Sometimes you can get very lucky, you get this pylon at 90% and you get the other pylon at 98%. Sometimes you get your pylon at 60% and get nothing until 100%. It's RNG, and this is just how the game works. But especially when you're getting desperate towards the end of the run, here and there, it might actually be, an effective or like the only way of winning, that you try to check for pylons very frequently. If you really need that power to have a chance to, finish the run in time, then you might want to check. In my case, that was not the case. I had like 4 minutes or something where I killed any boss, including choker, in that time, with this build at least. But a lot of builds don't have the luxury of having a sub 4-minute boss fight on a high tier, and you might wanna check. So my tip I can give you is that, especially in newer maps, you wanna try to memorize the Pylon Spawn locations as much as possible when you're doing speedruns, for example. You know, just pay attention to where you find those pylons, so that over time you can kind of like, you know, collect the data basically in your head, and it will help you tremendously to like figure out when to spawn pylons, where to spawn pylons, where to check for pylons. Not just for those, you know, rare cases where you actually, you know, spawn one somewhere in the fog and you might miss it, but also when you are going around the map in a push. You want to, you know, not kill all the pylon spawns too early, for example, so that you can maybe use them, you know, one by one and check them every 5 or 10% progression, so that you have a higher chance of getting one. Aside from this, I believe there could also be maybe some adjustments to the minimap in particular, so that when there's a pylon that you have already spawned, maybe it should just be highlighted on the minimap anyway. So even if it's in the fog, I think it would be a good idea to show the pylons on the map. So this is what some map hacks do, for example. And I believe that we don't really need to have like this, you know, unfair advantage for some people that just can see those pylons earlier than others. So yeah, why not just like put them on the minimap basically, and we would be we'd all be like equal footing, I guess. I actually had some other runs. For example, earlier that day when I was pushing Marauders 148 and got my rank 1 in the end, I actually had one run where I also missed the shield pylon entirely because it spawned in a pylon spawn that I didn't know existed, and I didn't really have like a good opportunity to check in that corner. And later, after the run was over, I realized, like, I went back because I realized I didn't get a pylon for like 60% progression or something. And I went back to floor 1 and I realized there was actually a pylon standing there. And the shield pylon on something like Marauder Demon Hunter is huge. It can in some cases be pretty close to a cornered pylon. So yeah, that was a very sad story because I failed to run rather closely. Personally, I can deal with that pretty well. You know, I just plug another key, I try again, and that's it. But it obviously is quite frustrating, and especially on the more casual end, if you ever run into this scenario where you actually find a pylon, you know, later than you should have, it can lead to pretty bad things, I believe. So there could be some updates for that. But either way, hope you enjoyed my video here, my explanation about how it worked. Hopefully you learned something for your own pushes, and I wish you guys good luck with the rest of Season 27. See you guys next time.